The 11 that stand alone in the infield at beautiful Belmont Park from Sir Barton in 1919, a span of 59 years through the mighty Affirmed, capping that golden era, the golden decade of the 1970s. 3 Triple Crown winners from Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed. We have gone 38 years. We're looking for that Triple Crown win, make that 37 years, but regardless, it's been a long time, and we hope to have American Pharoah 8 days from now, draped with the white carnations. It's Maggie Wolfendale, Jason Blewitt alongside. Glad you're with us here on Belmont Insider. 8 days away from the big day, Belmont Stakes Day, June 6th.
Yeah, I can't wait, Jay. It's going to be a great weekend of racing as well. I mean, the Met Mile is shaping up to be a great race. You know, we also have the older fillies. You have Untappable. She's been schooling and training here for Steve Asmussen. So Lady Eli will be running this weekend. So great racing just all around in the next, 7 days.
It's beautiful Belmont, the Taj Mahal. We're off and running on this Friday edition of Belmont Insider. A lot of ground to cover on tonight's show, but it is Belmont Stakes Central as we kick off the Friday headlines, and Todd Pletcher was up early this morning breezing his 3 Belmont Stakes starters. Up first, the team of Carpe Diem and Made From Lucky, who breezed in company, or both are bound for the test of the champion.
Yeah, that they are here, Jay. Carpe Diem's a bit of a quirky kind of guy. I saw him coming off the track after this breeze I was heading on as he was coming off, and boy, he gets so hot. He kind of winds himself up a lot. I mean, obviously he worked better than his stablemate in here, Made From Lucky, who does seem to be that out-and-out grinding type, and maybe that's what you need to be for the Belmont. But I didn't love either of these works. I kind of like the other 2 that we'll talk about a bit more.
All right, fair enough. We can move on to that second set. They went out, this trio, or duo, I should say, that we're looking at, went out after the renovation break at around 8:30 a.m. as we have Materiality on the inside, the Florida Derby winner, and Johnny V is up, and he goes a half inside the Louisiana Derby runner-up, Stanford.
I wonder what the kind of race Todd's going to point Stanford for, because he's been training really well. I thought Materiality worked very nicely here. They went the fastest of the 3 kind of Belmont prep works that we've seen. 47-3, out in 59-4, and galloping out the 6 furlongs in 113-3. And Johnny had to niggle at him a touch, but still, it's always harder for the horse down on the inside. And I thought it was a good work, and it should set him right up for the Belmont.
And those complete breezes, in fact, from the start to the finish and the gallop out, currently available on NYRA.com. Check that out, a resource. All Belmont Stakes all the time, and it's all horse racing all the time for Todd Pletcher. 7 eclipses and counting, and he caught up with Maggie earlier today to talk about the breezes.
Here with Belmont's leading trainer, who will send out an arsenal for this year's Belmont Stakes, Todd Pletcher. And you worked all 3 of your contenders or probables here today. Who impressed you most? Let's start with that.
I thought they all 3 did well. I can't say that one stood out. You know, they're all different personalities, and Carpe Diem's generally a little more aggressive workhorse, so he probably looked the sharpest. Materiality sort of always does what his workmate does. I thought he's put together a couple of good works, and you know, Made From Lucky's kind of a grinder, which is why we think you know, the 1.5 mile should suit his style. So I was happy with all of them. They all went out there, did well, and came back, cooled out well.
And Carpe Diem, he does seem to get really hot. Is that how he's always been?
He does, you know, and the way we worked on the main track today, he had a lot of warm-up before jogging back to the 7/8 pole, and he knew it was work day. He kind of got excited. And, you know, it's kind of what we've learned to expect from him. He's a Giants Causeway, and he's, you know, part of that's what makes him good.
Now, you're the only trainer not to have named jockeys. Of course, you have Javier Castellano and Johnny V in your back pocket. Any idea who might be riding who this coming Saturday?
No, I mean, we haven't decided for sure, and I just want to make sure that all 3 are running and you know, make sure they all come out of it well and talk to the connections, and we'll firm it up.
Now, it seems like Johnny V rides most of them in their morning works. Is there any cause of that?
No, I mean, you know, Johnny's ridden Carpe Diem in every start of his life, and he couldn't ride Materiality in the Derby because he was riding Carpe Diem. So, you know, he knows both horses well. He's worked them well. I mean, I think it's the same thing as Martin Garcia working American Pharoah, you know, and Victor rides him. So it doesn't necessarily mean that's who he's going to ride, but we'll see.
And how do you like your chances up against American Pharoah?
Well, I think it's a tall order. I mean, we have a lot of respect for American Pharoah. He's a very special horse. You know, we're hoping that the 5 weeks and the 1.5 miles and home track and all those things will hopefully play in our favor.
All right, Ty, well, best of luck with your 3.
Thank you.
Bit of the waiting game regarding the jockeys, and in the case of Todd Pletcher, clearly his idea or weapon going in, aside from numbers on his side, fresh is best, as his horses have not run in the 2/3 of the Triple Crown.
Right, they're opting to skip the Preakness, at least the two that ran fairly well in the Kentucky Derby, obviously Materiality being the best of those two. And then the Peter Pan winner, Made from Lucky, and he's spacing the races out as he needs to. He almost took down the Belmont here last year with Constitution. Commissioner. Why that? Yes, another
Windstar
horse.
Begins with the C.
Exactly. Oops. So he knows how to get these horses ready.
All right, he's already got 2 Belmont Stakes titles to his credit. Now, Kieran McLaughlin knows what it takes to win the Belmont Stakes as well, and he won this race about a decade ago with Frosted, or I should say with Jazzle. And here is Frosted, who is my Belmont Stakes horse, 8 days out, a week and change out, as he breezes inside. He's your Wood winner, and all rave reviews exiting this half-mile work over the main track.
Totally here, Jay. This was my favorite breeze of the 3 that we've seen, or excuse me, the 4 that we've seen. We see Renzo Morales, exercise rider for Kieran McLaughlin, in the irons, and him working with Tamar Cruz, a Godolphin horse who's very talented, will run in the Met Mile, and he just kind of pulled away from him. He was under stout restraint, about 3 or 4 pass off the inside, so you're always working a little bit faster because you're covering more ground than being down on the rail. So I think that Frosted looks so good heading into this Belmont, and he's always struck me as a horse is for the longer the better.
I think Kieran McLaughlin, his trainer, feels the same way as we send it down to Kieran.
Well, it's 5 weeks since we ran last time. We loved the timing. He ran great in the Kentucky Derby. We were probably second best and finished 4th. American Pharaoh's the real deal, just a super horse. And we just hope 3 races in 5 weeks catches up with him in the 1.5 miles. But he's definitely the horse to beat, obviously. And we like our chances. We're doing great since the race. It's our 3rd work, right on schedule, half, 5/8 back a half. And everything's going well. As far as spoiling it, no problem at all. We're in there to win. We have a lot of respect for American Pharaoh and the team. Bob Baffert does a great job. But when we get in the starting gate, we're all fighting for ourselves and trying to win and not concerned about the other horses per se. But I have a lot of respect for American Pharaoh. We have him to beat. We just hope everything goes our way.
And everything, for the most part, has gone the way of Frosted, who got that big win in the TwinSpires.com Wood Memorial back in April. And he has got the foundation from his 2-year-old season, you would think, to have no problem, or at least have a fighting chance going to 12 furlongs.
Yeah, as I said, Jay, physically he's built to me, as a horse who can handle this 1.5 mile distance. And the way he moves suggests that he'll be able to kind of maintain that stamina throughout the race. And Kieran seems awful confident. I don't know if that's a feeling you got too, but he likes his chances, and so do we.
As Tappet looks for his 2nd consecutive win in the Belmont Stakes. Speaking of Tappet's Belmont winner a year ago in Toneless, that horse had a 5-furlong work over the main track in 101-1 this morning for Christophe Command as he tunes up for the Metropolitan. Now, Bob Baffert may have Bayern in the Met Mile. He's also going to have the winner thus far of 2/3 of the Triple Crown, and that is American Pharaoh, your Derby and Preakness winner, who today at Churchill Downs was able to school and gallop the bit, and he has got his ticket to New York this coming Tuesday.
Yes, the hoopla will arrive here in Elmont, as American Pharaoh will arrive here. And, Bob likes the way he trains at Churchill. That's great, but I would have loved to seen him here a bit earlier, because this is a completely different surface, Jay.
Pretty amazing that Bob Baffert, in just under 2 decades, is looking to sweep the Triple Crown with 4 different horses. It's not his first rodeo, and safe trip to American Pharaoh. We'll get him over Big Sandy Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Friday morning before the big dance. Well, from the 3-year-old crop, and of course horses that are running in the Test of the Champion, to potentially the New York bred stars of tomorrow, as we start Friday's Insider with a look back at race number 1. These are New York bred juveniles from the gate with Larry Colmus.
Fast beginning for Dr. Shane, who goes out to take the lead. And My Man Al goes with Dr. Shane early. And then it's Sea Pebble and Uno Amayo to the inside. Jack Rocks, last of the 5 as they move around the far turn. My Man Al and Dr. Shane, these two are going at it. My Man Al's got a neck in front. Dr. Shane has the inside second by 5 lengths. And then it's C. Pebble being motivated along in third, followed by Uno Amayo and Jack Rocks at 22 flat opening quarter mile for My Man Al and Dr. Shane, and they duke it out coming to the top of the stretch. Dr. Shane's got the lead as they turn for home right against the rail. My Man Al is second, and the filly C. Pebble is 4 lengths behind and closing in with each and every stride on the far outside. C. Pebble has to come and get Dr. Shane. Dr. Shane's got it by 2.5 lengths. C. Pebble is second now, and Uno Amayo has taken third. There is no catching Dr. Shane, who pulls off the upset in the opener to beat C. Pebble by about 2 1/4 on the wire. Uno Amayo was
wow, 14-1 on this 2-year-old firster. By far the rank outsider. It didn't matter. He didn't look at the tote board, and he scores a big win in Dr. Shane.
And neither did Manny Franco. He was aggressive with this firster from the Nick Essler barn. I kind of forgot how good Nick is with his first-time starters. He hasn't had one run in quite a while, but he gets him ready to go. He said to me, I didn't know if he was quite fit enough or quite tight enough, but this will put him where he needs to be, and he's looking for big things from here on out.
Paid a nice price, Dr. Shane, as we catch up with My Loot in his first start off a 300-day layoff, joining a barn that already has Britannico, Constitution, Commissioner, and Race Day. Friday morning before the races began was all about the New York Jockey Colony giving back. They were over at the Ronald McDonald House over in New Hyde Park, and smiling faces and cheering up some of these brave little boys and girls who are so brave and fighting, some of them terminally ill. Oh, good to see those shoes. Wow. Never thought I'd see John Velasquez with the size 10. We had a little pony out there. Good to see Taylor Rice, and just really nice to see this Jockey Colony giving back, a long partnership the Ronald McDonald House has had with the Naira Jockey Colony over the last few years. And it's Maggie Wolfendale and Jason Blewitt. And did you ever think you'd see Johnny V or Manny Franco with the size 9 or 10 shoe?
No,
or maybe 14.
Yeah, exactly. They're borrowing shacks.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, let's move on. Race number 3. It's got to be the shoes as we get on to My Loot and the cast he faces in the Friday feature, purse of $80K. And here's Larry Colmus.
They're off. My Loot broke near the back of the field. Lucky Lotto came out well. Mail and Integrity also with speed. There goes Integrity inside of Lucky Lotto. These two will battle it out early. Mail 2 lengths off of them. And then it's My Loot who's up running in 4th position ahead of Speak Logistics and Castaway on the inside. Up the backstretch they go. And the leader is Integrity by a neck over Lucky Lotto. These two completed 23-1 first quarter mile. Mail is 3 lengths off of them, and My Loot is 4th up the backstretch. And My Loot's a good 7 lengths behind. Castaway and Speak Logistics at the back of the field as Integrity and Angel Cruz roll along up front. Lucky Lotto's a length behind now as they race for the turn. And then it's Mail in 3rd. My Loot starts to pick it up 5.5 lengths off the lead after a 45 3/2 mile. And here's Lucky Lotto alongside of Integrity now. And Lucky Lotto goes up to stick ahead in front. My Loot continues to progress outside of Mail. These two are starting to zero in on the front runners as they come toward the top of the stretch. It is Lucky Lotto on the outside, the leader. On the inside comes Integrity second. My Loot's moving 4 wide, and Mail is 3 wide, and they're into the stretch. Lucky Lotto and My Loot now comes on. And after 3/4 and 1/10 flat, My Loot sticks ahead in front. Lucky Lotto back to second on the inside, and they've left the others behind. Mail is 3rd, and My Loot comes back a winner. My Loot and John Velasquez by 2 lengths.
Nice victory out of My Loot, 5-year-old debut, and first start off a trader change to Todd Pletcher.
Todd has every good horse, it seems like, on this backside. At least dirt horses, as Trad seems to have all the good turf horses. But, Jay, just a quick pat to the second-place finisher. I thought Lucky Lotto ran extremely well. Attended a fairly quick pace, going the mile distance, and hung around pretty gamely as My Loot just proved to be the class of the field.
All right, John Velasquez up. We'll see where My Loot goes from here, but a good starting point in his first first race off that 300-day layoff. Race number 8, a lot closer than 300 days. In fact, we will get them in the gate. Last turf race on the card, Widener, 3-year-olds, an allowance, $77K the purse, and the same voice upstairs. It is Larry C.
Side is Ship Disturber, and Tap Key is going up in between horses. So it's going to be Natural Order to lead the way early on. Tap Key is in second. To the outside comes Silver Ride in third. Right behind them, Ship Disturber is fourth, Fundamental fifth, Sunrise Sunset sixth on the outside by 2.5. And they're followed by Canadian Flyer. Face the Music is second last, and the trailer is Johnson City Kid. The first quarter went in 23 and 2/5 seconds. And they're running up the backstretch. Natural Order on the outside. Tap Key is down at the rail, and Tap Key is now ahead in front. Silver Ride a length and a half off of them. Ship Disturber is fourth on the inside. Fundamental follows in fifth. Sunrise Sunset sent out there 3 wide as they move into the turn. And then it's Face the Music, was only 4.5 lengths behind. Will need a way through. After that, it is Canadian Flyer and Johnson City Kid. 47 and 2 for a half. Around the far turn, Tap Key by a neck. Natural Order is second. Silver Ride third to the outside. Then Ship Disturber along the rail. Sunrise Sunset on the far outside. Fundamental, Face the Music. Johnson City Kid is right there in contention. And Canadian Flyer is last, but it is very wide open as they come to the top of the stretch. And there goes Sunrise Sunset to rally up to take the lead. Plenty of competition coming. Face the Music is rolling up on the far outside. Then it's Johnson City Kid. Face the Music, Johnson City Kid on the far outside. Canadian Flyer, they're coming down to the finish. And it's going to be Face the Music to win it over Johnson City Kid. Then a photo between Sunrise Sunset and
Choleric, Cantankerous, you name it. I'll tell you, Face the Music delayed the start. He just did not want to go in the gate, and I'm looking, I'm going, man, I got to catch a train of the MSG.
Same thing last time.
Holy smokes, they finally got him in. Great job by Roy Williamson and the assistant starters.
And
but
Michael
once
McMullen.
they sprung the latch, he was all business. This was a great ride, but a very nice colt here for Shug.
Oftentimes you take it as a negative sign, a horse not wanting to go in the gate, but it's just him. As you said, he's a bit cantankerous, that's for sure. But it really flatters Takeover Target, who had another horse coming out of that same race and set a new track record earlier on in the card, which we'll get to in a second. So he's looking pretty good in that Penine Ridge.
All right, Javier Castellano, Shug. I said, man, I got a Rangers game to catch. Get in the gate. But a good job by Face the Music, and Shug's got one on the improve. Sizzling 6 as we get on to races 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 with Larry Colmus.
Darling Bridezilla to the inside, and Easy Passer is coming now, and Bridget Maloney is joined by Easy Passer at the top of the stretch, and Easy Passer has taken the lead. Herod Ortiz Jr. and Easy Passer starting to pull away. Darling Bridezilla has retaken second, and Bridget Maloney is back to third, and now Darling Bridezilla is going to try to make a race of it, but Easy Passer's got it, and Easy Passer comes under the line, a 2-length winner. Darling Bridezilla was second, and Bridget Maloney was third. To a length, Mangold is third. Then Inside the Pipe on the inside, followed by Cup of Joe. Let's wrap it up. And Nick N. Jr., who swings up on the far outside, but Weekend Express has taken the lead and is pulling away. Weekend Express by 5 as they come down to the 16th pole. And Weekend Express and Joe Bravo are all alone under the wire. They're going to win by 7 lengths in the end over Cup and Joe. And then Nick N. Jr. and JC's Not Brown for home together after 3 quarters in 1, 14 and 4. They're into the stretch. Crescent Street on the inside, Abandoned Ship right alongside these two into the final furlong, joined now by Sir Maurice. And also gaining ground on the outside is Bad Scooter. And then comes Cody's Notes, and they're passing the 16th pole. And it is Sir Maurice who's taken the lead, and Bad Scooter charges up into second lane. Sir Maurice the winner to Bad Scooter, and then came Crescent Street and Greg's four-wheeler. And now Breach of Duty begins to gain ground on the far outside, and here comes Breach of Duty coming right up to the front runners after a 46 flat half mile. They're into the stretch, and Breach of Duty has taken over and is pulling away to a 2.5 length lead as Under the Moonlight takes up the chase from second. Let's Go to Vegas is back into third, and then Miss Loretta Lynn. It is Breach of Duty and Under the Moonlight, and Breach of Duty does it. Under the Moonlight was second, and then Miss Loretta Lynn and Clock Stopper. It is Asset Inflation off the turn in front. Asset Inflation straightens out with a 1.5 lead over Billy the Bull as Dowse's Beach is coming up to them on the far outside. Asset Inflation, Billy the Bull, Dowse's Beach to the outside. Then Sanctify, who's closing the gap down toward the rail. Final 16th. Here's Dowse's Beach on the outside. Asset Inflation, Sanctify on the inside. Wake Up in Malibu. They all hit the wire together, and up the rail it was Sanctify to win it. In a photo with Wake Up, 45 4.5. They're into the stretch. Here's Toddy Royer on the outside. Toddy Royer, a big long shot here, is taking the lead and is pulling away. Toddy Royer's got it by 3. Suspicious Mind on the outside. And then David Rocks, and how frosty it is. Toddy Royer and Fernando Jara did it. Over Suspicious Mind, David Rocks was third, and 9 Bears.
Some fireworks on tonight's show. We had Dr. Shade in the first at 14-1, and even higher price in the last. Bookending the card was Toddy Royer at 58 even. Fernando Jara up. Colt by Roaring Fever. Nobody alive going into the last in the pick 6. We do have that carryover, 17,000 plus. And let's get back to race number 7. 3/4 on the inner turf as Cappy takes out his binocs, and Larry through his binocs had to call a whole bunch of horses as there was a cavalry charge down to the finish line.
Yeah, there really was, and a great ride here by Manny Franco. You know, there wasn't much room for him to go at first, and then he committed, and luckily it opened up a little bit for him, which made Sanctify a little bit braver there on the rail. So he got up by half a head, or a head at best, over a fast closing Wake Up at Malibu, and still a really game Asset Inflation.
Right, Asset Inflation was okay, as was Dowse's Beach, who hung a bit but ran okay in his first start as a 4-year-old, as we sent it to the rider standings on a day in which only Irad Ortiz and Manny Franco won more than one race. Both those guys had a riding double.
Yes, they did. Irad Ortiz stands alone there at the top with 22 over Javier Castellanos. So there's really something to be said about that, because he was serving a suspension heading into the earlier part of this week. So he's really firing on all cylinders.
40% the norm for Todd Pletcher, who's got 17 wins. He made up a lot of ground on Chad. Chad's still batting around 40% as well, but Todd Pletcher with another winner in my loot on today's card. Chad Brown, in the meantime, gears up for a huge weekend with Takeover Target. Lady Eli, he runs 3 in the American Oak, so we've got 3 claims, including Integrity, who went for some big money out of race number 3.
80,000 here. Jay goes back to Rudy Rodriguez, but for a different owner in Vinny Scuderi.
All right, let's move it ahead. The Saturday preview, including a solid group of 3-year-olds on the Penine Ridge. What a backyard, what a scene. Sights and sounds of a day at the races at Belmont Park. Just 8 days away from that Belmont Stakes, 147. You need to be here and be a part of history as destiny awaits for the Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner, American Pharaoh. We have those limited, and they are limited, $15 grandstand admission tickets available at BelmontStakes.com. And how about this select, Maggie, list of a half a dozen grade ones on Belmont Day?
Yeah, really looking forward to, obviously, the Med Mile is insane. The talent that we have assembled there, it looks to go in there. As well as that Ogden Fitz, and of course the Acorn. Always look forward to that, but some great wagering opportunities as well.
Can't wait to see how much money I'm going to lose throughout Belmont Stakes Festival. Over $4 million in guaranteed wagers. This is Belmont Insider, and let's get into the Saturday preview, beginning with global positioning in race number 8.
Yeah, this is going to be his second place finisher behind Wincoma. I mean, he just kind of got run off his feet here a bit, and Wincoma was the much the best winner, though he did not return to run that successfully, going 7 furlongs in the Mike Lee this Memorial Day. But global positioning, he's a very logical horse. He doesn't seem to win that often as I'd like to see him, but I do think he might sit a bit of a better trip here.
New York Chrome off a maiden win for Jason Service. What do you think with him coming back and Irad Ortiz?
Visually, it was a nice effort. He did not beat much, though, so that makes me a little bit suspect of him. I think he's, just based upon my observations, I think he's a horse who could step up and run well here. I just don't know if he's a win candidate just because he's facing much better here.
Blinkers on. post towards the outside with Disco Partner. I like picking up a race from the Big A. We're on the main track for the Stallion Stakes, where he was third behind Possess.
He needs to get away better, and maybe that's what the blinkers will do. I mean, in his last two, he's just not gotten away to a great start. When he did have that in his debut, and he won and drew off really nicely there, handily. Had a bit of a trouble trip there, but still, I'm hoping the blinkers will move this horse up because he needs to.
It's a new Saturday, another $300,000 guaranteed late pick 4. We did race 8. Let's check out the 9th. It is the feature, the second running of the Penine Ridge 3-year-olds, our local prep for the Belmont Derby. And man, oh man, was takeover target. Here he comes, white and red cap. He was very good in this win over Face the Music.
Yeah, you just see him lengthen his stride here. He's very efficient as well, and that turn of foot is very impressive. As I was saying earlier, Face the Music came back to win today, as well as Weekend Express. He was very impressive in winning too. So it seems as though he's coming out of a live race, and he's a very live horse.
And we saw a horse drop out of a lost Derby day in the American turf, and a lot who scored an easy win last weekend here in the Paradise Creek. Divisadero runs him down for Buff Bradley, and this is a rare Belmont starter for Buff.
I think we're going to see Takeover Target and Divisadero, battling out down the lane here, because those two seem like the ones who just have those explosive late runs here. I saw Divisadero training this morning at Belmont. Got a little hot. Hopefully he settles down a bit more for tomorrow.
Made in Detroit, blanket finish. Here we go. It's the Woodhaven, April 18th, won by Vision Perfect.
This was such a weird race, Jay, because for only 5 runners, like half the field found trouble. Only the top 2 finishers had a good trip. The 3 behind him did not, as we are looking at Chief Kitten on the outside, who got stymied down on the rail. Maybe he would have had more to offer if he got a cleaner trip. And then A. Campari kind of got a yin-yang wide trip, so maybe with a little bit of a cleaner, more settled run, he'll be effective.
He'll switch to Luis Saez. Should be an okay price. 8-1 on the line for Michael Dilger, and a man that is much shorter. He's one of our favorites. It's Andy Serling with who to look for here tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks a lot. I'm looking at race 4 on Saturday's card. They're going 7 furlongs, and they're going to do it on the Widener turf course. And I like the 5, Iced Over. If you take a look at Iced Over's races last year, they're actually better than they look on paper. They're just a little bit clouded up by some other races that aren't as good. And I think the 1-turn 7 furlong is going to hit him right between the eyes. I also like that his trainer gave him a prep on the dirt at Churchill Downs before shipping him here. He wanted to make sure that Iced Over was ready. And I hope he's ready, and I think he will be ready to take the 4th race on Saturday as we go back to the studio.
Little Iced Over for Andy. Best of luck to his selection on the program tomorrow. 1:20 p.m. is the first post. $17,000 pick 6 carryover. $300K the minimum in that Saturday late pick 4. Takeover Target and the crew on display in the Penine Ridge. That'll do it. We hit the finish line. A smooth stretch run with Maggie alongside. Thank you for tuning in. And that'll do it for this Friday edition of Belmont Insider. Have a great night.